येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीमदाय विष्णुश्रीमते जयपतां स्वामी So Hare Krishna everybody. So thank you so much for joining this our Saturday Srimad Bhagavatam session. So as Swami Prabhu was saying that we are moving towards the last few chapters of fourth canto. I remember when Swami Prabhu had started and he has told it's a big canto, and but we are, of course, still there are many chapters, but I mean to say that how consistently doing us has got us to the such a stage that we are discussing fourth canto and 28th chapter today. So thank you so much for all of you for enthusiastically participating in these sessions and discussions. So last couple of weeks, we have been hearing the story of Puranjana, which is an allegory of, what happens to a living entity, how a living entity goes through the various stages. And today is sort of, this 28th chapter is sort of a culmination. Of course, there is one more chapter where Narad Muni is going to explain this in, detail what he will, till now he's telling in the story form, and then he will tell what are the different things which represent what. But today's, there is a lot of dramatic incidents are happening in today's chapter. So I generally try to prepare a presentation PPT so that I can put some important points on and show on the screen. But when I was preparing for this chapter, I saw that every shloka has some or other incidents happening. And then I thought literally I have to copy paste whole chapter. So I thought I'll share the screen of the chapter itself. And so that, all these, so it's a big chapter. It has 65 shlokas and a lot of events, as I said. So let's quickly go through this story so far. Shankpani Prabhu, Rajeshwar Prabhu, and last week Chandramukha Prabhu had very nicely taken the story forward and many of the important learnings, because that's very important aspect. So today I will try to keep it a little interactive, because if you are not actively listening, I'm sure you all will sleep because there are too many things happening. But I would like to still ask, can somebody tell what is the story of Puranjana so far? I'll try not speakers, those who have taken sessions not speaking, but if nobody is there, they can speak as well. So who is Puranjana? Okay, where does this story starts? Puranjana story. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, bro.
Okay. I thought I'm not audible. Or so where does the story starts? Who is speaking the story?
Narada Muni.
Yes, and Narad Muni is speaking to whom?
Rajendra Barhis.
Prachin Baris. And who is Prachin Baris?
Father of Prachetas?
Father of Prachetas. Yes. And we know that story of Prachetas, that they go and do austerity and Lord Shiva comes and gives them instructions. So that's a very nice part of this thing. But still, this Prachin Barishad is, although he has sent his son for the austerity and purification, he is involved in the karma kanda activities. Like he is doing a lot of yagnas, homas, and animal sacrifices. Specifically, we should mention by Narad Muni. So, Narad Muni, out of we see all Bhagavatam is like how out of compassion for living entity, Narad Muni goes to Prachin Barishad and ask him that for what purpose are you doing this you know this karmas, these activities? What is your goal? And Prachit Barishad very nicely says that my intelligence is lost. I'm just doing it, as thinking that's the goal of life. So can you please instruct me? And first thing Narad Muni shows him is all the animals which has been sacrificed in during this thing. He says that, all these animals are waiting for you because whatever the pain you have caused to them, they are going to, revert back to you with this thing. So Prabhupada has written long purport we saw in previous sessions where Prabhupada is saying that although animal sacrifices is prescribed, but that's not should be used for the sense gratification. So it is very tricky thing to do animal sacrifice. A lot of people justify nowadays is social media time. You go and say a lot of atheist and a lot of anti-Sanatan Dharma people, they quote all these things. So animal sacrifice is there. Why so much this thing is there? But in the age of Kali, actually, it's not possible to do a proper animal sacrifice. There is a process for that. So anyway, we'll not go into that today. So then Narad Muni starts telling the story of Puranjana. Puranjana is a king. And as you know that this is a allegorical story. And so Narad Muni starts that Puranjana is a, king, and he has one friend whose name is Avignata and whose activities are unknown. So who is Puranjana and who is Avignata?
Original is the soul or Atma, and Avijnana is the super soul.
Super soul. The soul and super soul. So this basically Puranjana. And Puranjana is roaming around for the long, all around the world, to find a suitable place to do the sense gratification. And finally, he comes to the city of nine gates. So what is the city of nine gates? Apart from Rajshekhar Prabhu, anybody else want to say? I know he has just
Our body, Prabhuji.
sorry,
Body, our body,
our
Prabhuji.
body. So it has nine gates. What are these nine gates?
Eyes, nose, mouth,
Eyes, nose, mouth.
genital,
Yes.
and all.
And yes, so this is a body of nine gates. So now Puranjana, who is the living entity or Jiva, finds a body, which is finds a city, which is having the nine gates. So, it is described in detail how this city is. So then the important point junction is where this Puranjana meets a woman called Puranjani. And he asks that Puranjani, that who are you, where have you come from, what are all these questions he asked. And he gets attracted to this Puranjani. So who is this Puranjani? Sorry, I'm going to keep you all awake today. I don't want you to sleep because this session is very too many things happening here. So I just want to keep it interactive as much as possible. Okay, so who is Puranjani?
Our material intelligence, Prabhuji.
Material intelligence, or we can say avidya.
That's
So which is represent. So what happens is living entity gets attracted to the material intelligence, which means the propensity to enjoy in this material world. So living entity, so basically this Puranjana, this Puranjini, she basically appreciates Puranjana and, I'm attracted to you. And so she gives various reasons. And at last, Puranjana marries Puranjani. So we saw in the 26th chapter, I think it was taken by Rashikar Prabhu, if I'm not wrong. So now, so what happens is in this chapter, the Puranjana goes for hunting. And because of that, his queen becomes angry. And in the whole chapter, basically the first section is goes for hunting, and then when he comes back, he talks to the queen's servants, and the servants tell that queen is upset. And then Puranjana goes and tries to pacify the queen. And, at last he becomes totally, basically attracted to, or totally maybe we can say under the control of Puranjani, the queen. So what does this implies? What is hunting means, and what is, queen getting upset, Puranjani?
You get tied up in material engagements.
Yes, yes. And then what is the result? More and more we are into hunting means it basically represents all illicit activities.
You get attracted to
You
it.
get more and more entangled, and your
Sense-based
material
extension and totally under the control of the wife.
desires. Yes. So when we say the wife, so here the person, the living entity becomes totally, get entangled by the material. They're total overpowered by the material. So if you really see, for last 3-4 weeks, I have been hearing this story by all the speakers, and I just feel like it is so much, very, Narad Muni so compassionately is explaining this all. And when you read, you can relate to it, that how we are helplessly in Bhagavad Gita also. Arjuna asked this question to Krishna, that why I'm getting like so much, although I know it is not right, but I'm still getting attracted. And then Krishna says that it is all because of Rajoguna. So because of the mode of passion, a living entity gets more and more entangled towards the material desires, and these material desires, material actions causes reaction, and it is an entanglement. It's a cycle of entanglement which we are not able to come out. More and more, we get entangled in this. So in 27th chapter, then the chapter name is attacked by Chanda Vega on the city of Puranjana and the character of Kalakanya. So now this, as the Puranjana is enjoying with his wife, he begets 1100 sons and 110 daughters, and through them there are many grandchildren, and because of that the city becomes overcrowded with all of these descendants. So basically these sons and grandsons, they are basically our own more and more material attachments. And then we are more and more into grip of this material nature, the Maya. And then it says that these sons and grandsons, they become the plunder of the home, treasury, servant, secretary, they all their attachment, his attachment to them becomes deep rooted. So all these, so basically these treasury, servant, secretaries, they all represent our senses, our mind, our, so because of these desires, more and more desires, the whole our senses become so much tied up with sense enjoyment. Our mind get totally engrossed. We just overpowered. We just get overpowered by the, these vegas, these urges to enjoy in this material world. And Prabhupada writes in many purport that sex is the biggest, attraction for a living entity, the propensity to enjoy the opposite sex. And in today's context, even the same sex. So it is very difficult to overcome that, the propensity. That is the most difficult propensity. And that's why Narad Muni is using that as an analogy in this whole this thing. But what happens is that, so as the Puranjana is, getting entangled with his sons and grandsons and all that, what happens is he's fully get engrossed in that. And then the Chandavega attracts Puranjana city. So who is Chandavega? It's mentioned that Chandavega attracts the city with Gandharvas and Gandharvis. Half of them are white, half of them are black. And the Chandavega and his followers, they surround the city and they plunder it. What does it mean? What is Chandavega?
Old age, Prabhuji.
Chandavega is not old age.
Prabhuji, time.
Time, yes. So time, the Chandavega is time. So we are busy in enjoying in this material world, but time is attacking the city. And what is this Gandharvas and Gandharvis? Gandharvas are actually it's mentioned there. The time, the Chandavega with 360 powerful Gandharva soldiers and female Gandharvi companions surrounds and plundered the Puranjana city. So these 360 Gandharvas and 360 Gandharvis, what they represent? Day and night. So time is passing out with day and night. The day and night every day, we get up in the morning, and by the time night comes, we realize we have not achieved anything. So this time is slowly, it surrounds the city, and through the help of these, Gandharvas and Gandharvis, and, so what happens is, the time makes this city very weak because it surrounds. Okay. So then there is a five-hooded serpent who fights this Chandavega and his followers. Anybody knows what is this five-headed serpent?
It's a prana.
Prana Vayu, yes. So our body has, Prana Vayu, or we call it Pancha Vayu. So this is Prana Vayu, basically these are Prana, Apana, Udana, Samana, and Vayana. So these are the various airs which are responsible for the various movements within our body, and these are called the prana shaktis, through which our living force. So actually, we can say these are the living force through which our body, works. So this now five-hooded serpent, he comes to protect the attack of Chandavega. So which literally means what? The time is coming and attacking. Time is attacking our body through day and night, every day and night, 360 Gandharvas, 360 Gandharvis. And, in that is mentioned that, there is a white pair of Gandharvas and there is black pair of Gandharvas. So which means, the waxing moon and the waning moon. So time is passing. So Chandavega and the soldiers, the Gandharva, Gandharvis, they represent the time. And this five-hooded serpent, it is fighting the time every day and night. But what happens is, when this five-hooded serpent, who is the superintendent of this body, is trying to fight Chandavega, the Puranjana is busy in enjoying the sexual life with his wife. He is not bothered about the, the five. So he is busy, it is mentioned, he is busy in collecting the taxes from the five provinces. So 5 provinces represents the 5 sense organs. So through which we enjoy in this material world, right? So collecting taxes means he is using, and because of that, the senses are becoming weak over the period of time, because we are busy enjoying through the senses. So I don't think we need to talk about this. Many of us are in the range of 40s, late 40s and early 50s. We have specs. We have hearing is slowly becoming slow. Teeth are falling down, root canal and all that we are doing. So all these things are, our senses are becoming slowly this thing, because we are continuously taxing it. In the sense we are collecting, we are overusing it. So then because of that, what happens is this five-headed serpent is becoming weak. Now, parallelly, the Puranjana starts a parallel story saying that, there is a girl or lady with the name of Kalakanya. So now Kalakanya is a daughter of Chandavega. And she is searching throughout the world. She is searching for a suitable, alliance, a husband. So then she goes, Narad Muni is saying, she came to me, but I told her that, I am not, I'm not interested in you. So then she curses that, so he's saying that Kalakanya has cursed me, that I should not stay at one place. Anyway, that's a different story, why he got that curse. But he's saying that here. And so finally, the Narad Muni says that, okay, this thing, I gave her advice that you go and approach Bhaya, who is the king of Yavana, and chose him as a husband. So now who is this Kalakanya? Who is Bhaya? And who is the king of Yavana? What does it represent?
Kalakanya is old age, deterioration.
Yes. Sorry, Prabhu, I interrupted you. What is Bhaya? What is Bhaya means? Bhaya, nobody knows the meaning of Bhaya.
Bhaya means fear, Prabhuji, representing
Mercy,
that.
Prabhu.
Fear.
Mercy. Fear.
Bhaya is fear. So fear means indirectly, which means king of Yavana means Yama, and the king of Yavana is death. So Bhaya in the form of death is, or you can say interchangeably, it has been used. So, okay, it is already 6:40, so I have to quickly move. So Kalakanya basically marries Bhaya. And so basically now in this chapter, the chapter's name is Puranjana becomes a woman in next life. So a lot of things are happening quickly in this chapter now. So I'll go to this. So basically, so I'll have to quickly pass you all through the screen. So now you can focus on the screen. So this you can say that, so Narad Muni is saying, my dear King Prashin Barishad, afterwards the king of Yavanas, whose name is fear itself, as well as Prajwara, Kalakanya and his soldiers begin to travel all over the world. So this Yavana, which is fear, the king of Yavana, Prajwara means it's a fear which comes at the time, fever, not fear. Fever, Jwara means fever. So Prajwara means which is extreme fever, sorry. So fever along with Kalakanya means old age, and his soldiers are what? Diseases. So now they are roaming all around the world because they want to find some suitable person. Okay. So once a dangerous soldiers attack the city of Puranjana. So now what is the soldiers? Which is diseases, Kalakanya and Prajvara. They all are now attacking Puranjana with the great force. Although the city is full of paraphernalia of sense gratification, it was being protected by the old serpent. So what does it mean? Sorry,
Pranavayu, the Vayu is protected that whole city.
sorry, go ahead, bro.
The Vayu is protected the whole city, Prabhu, that 5 serpents.
Yes, the 5 serpents is the Prana Vayu, which is the combination of 5 airs, which is a Prana Shakti, or a living force. So now when the this Kalakanya, which is old age, Prajvara means fever, soldiers are diseases, they are attacking. All the city is full of sense gratification. It is protected by this thing. But let's see what happens next. So Prabhupada is in the purport, he's saying that a person who is too much attached to the sense gratification. So when the old age comes, for them it is very, very difficult to understand this, or what you say, accept it. So person in old age, I'm sure we all can, because maybe at the moment we are not at the old age, so we don't understand this. But those who are in old age can relate to this, is that old age, when our body is relatively weak, our senses are becoming weak, but there is that because we have enjoyed the whole life, so that the propensity to enjoy does not go away. So now gradually, Kalakanya, with the help of dangerous soldiers, attacked the all inhabitants of Puranjana city and thus rendered them useless of all the purposes. So, what are the inhabitants of Puranjana city? What is Puranjana city's inhabitants? Nobody got this point. So Puranjana is what? Our body. So inhabitants of body are what?
The senses,
Senses, organs,
Interest.
body.
Mind.
mind. Mind actually doesn't become weak. That is the problem in old age. So senses will become weak, but mind does becomes more stronger because the mind has enjoyed. Now mind is rebelling. And I want to enjoy, but the body is not there to support. So it is
Correct.
very
Senses, mind, intelligence.
senses, mind, intelligence, correct. So basically so now this Kalakanya, which is the old age, Jara, it is attacked the Puranjana city, and literally the inhabitants have become useless for all purpose. So this all the inhabitants, all the senses of the body are, becoming weak. But the propensity to enjoy is not going. Puranjana is still busy in enjoying. So Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport that it is very important that from the childhood, from the young age, the child is trained to become a very strong, control on the senses. Unnecessarily, so if we see our Varnashrama system, where it starts from Brahmacharya, Grasta, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So if you see, apart from Grasta, Brahmacharya, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas, there is total, it is being, I should not use the word advice, rather we are being asked in these stages of life, we should have the total sense control. Only in the Grasta life we are allowed to have the sense enjoyment, but that too in a very limited way, not for the too much getting. And that's why if you see the Vanaprastha and Sannyasa stage, if you have enjoyed too much in the Grasta stage, then Sannyasa and Vanaprastha stages would be very difficult. So Vanaprastha stage is where we are trying to detach from our family, and sannyas means we are totally leaving. So in the Vanaprastha and sannyas stages, if we are too much engrossed, so that's why these so many incidents of this so-called sages and or whatever mathadishas and all that, why there after some time some or other incidents will come, and because they have enjoyed too much, and then once they get the power of that specifically spiritual organization or something, there all those hidden desires, they come out and they fall into the trap of attraction, specifically attraction to the opposite sex, which is very difficult to overcome. So when Kalakanya, the daughter of time, attacked the body, the dangerous soldiers of the king of Yavana entered the city through different gates, and they began to give severe trouble to all the citizens. So as we already discussed, 9 gates are there: eyes, nose, ear, mouth, rectum, and genitals. And so because of old age, what happens is all these diseases, they start getting inside, and which makes our body very weak. For example, as Prabhupada is mentioning, that nostrils are blocked by mucus, And, Prabhupada is writing too much. Maybe you all can read, he's giving, how this mucus has to be removed sometime, even to pass urine, we use enema and those kind of things, Prabhupada is saying. So it's in old age, it's very difficult, you know. So when his city was endangered by the soldiers and Kalakanya, King Puranjana, being overly absorbed in the affection of his family, was placed in difficulty. So when these diseases and, these comes into our body, we become very, disturbed. And, because we are so much have been enjoying in this. So Prabhupada is mentioning about Kshetra and Kshetraknya, which is the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So living entity is, is the, has been, the living entity, the Jiva has been given this Kshetra, this body, for the purpose of action. But what kind of action we do in the, so if we are not protecting the Kshetra, our material body enough, then there will be a lot of weeds which will come in this body. The Prabhupada's Varpotis mentioned that. When King Puranjana was embraced by Kalakanya, he gradually lost all the beauty, and having been too much addicted to sex, he became very poor in intelligence and lost all his opulence. Being bereft of all possession, he conquered forcibly by the Gandharvas and Yavanas. So when the old age comes, all over the bodily luster will go away. And but if we are too much indulged in the material activities, then it will be very difficult. So now, because the old age is, taking up so the body, the jiva starts becoming very anxious, So now what happens is, when we are old ages, so when we are old, start becoming old, slowly we start feeling the indifference from our sons, grandsons, and all those people who were around us, who were, taking care of, who were thinking that, we are the center of their lives. But as soon as we start becoming old, they start feeling that, oh, this person is useless. And Prabhupada writes at many places that, so as soon as our own brothers, sisters, sons, grandsons, they start seeing that, we are becoming useless, or because of the old age, they start losing interest in us, and they have only interest in our, material opulence, our wealth. They just wait, okay, when this guy will die, and then he will give all his money to me. And with that, and Prabhupada is in the purport, he is talking about the word of Brahmana and Kripana, which we see in the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita also. So the person is Kripana because he has not used his material body for the right purpose. That is the self-realization. If a person is using the body only for the sense enjoyment, he is a Kripana. But he is a Brahmana if he is trying to understand the absolute goal of this life. So we should use this Puranjana, this our material body, Puranjana should use this material body for the understanding the ultimate goal of life. So when he sees that, Puranjana sees that everybody has become indifferent, he is, he's not able to bear that. He becomes very, very overwhelmed. So, so far the objects of enjoyments, which were like, they were, because he was very much affectionate to his wife, children, and all that. But now, because of the influence of Kala Kanya, which is the old age, that his intelligence gets totally this thing, and lusty desires. So desires to enjoy, they don't become slow down. They don't slow down. Rather, they increase, because we have been enjoying too much, and now the old age, our physical capabilities goes down. So it is very, very difficult stage in the for a person who is too much materially enjoying the in his young age. So now the Gandharva and Yavana soldiers, they take over the city, and although king has no desire to leave the city, but he is forced, because the Kalakanya has totally smashed him. So now Puranjana, although this city, he's too much attached to this city and he is enjoying in this city, but now Kalakanya, the old age, has totally smashed his body, and he doesn't want to leave, but the situation is becoming that, and Prabhupada is writing in purport that even if you go to a worm of a stool and you try to remove the stool from the, worm from the stool, the worm becomes very uneasy. And he's also telling the hog, you come and we know that famous story where Indra becomes hog, and Narad Muni comes and tells him that let's come out, and he said, no, I'm happily enjoying with sheep, pig, and and children and all that. So it's because of overly attachment to this bodily and the extension of this body, for the soul it becomes very difficult to leave this body. So the body, although the situation becomes like that. I've seen this actually practically happening, that even in the old age, when you ask somebody that okay, now old age is coming, what you would like to do, so people will still say, I want this, I want to have my grandchildren, I want to enjoy with them, I want to have nice food, like that, because our attachment is to all this. We have that famous story where Akbar and Birbal, where Akbar tells to Birbal that in old age nothing happens, and then Birbal takes him to the old person and he tells, take your daughter. And that old person who is about to die, he's constantly looking at the Akbar's daughter. So then Narad Muni says, see, this, even if he is at the deathbed, he is still wants to enjoy your daughter because he has overly attached to this thing. So that shows that it is very difficult to overcome if we don't do at the right time our engagements properly. So now this elder brother of Yavanraj, Prajvara, sets fire to the city. So basically at the time of death, there is a high fever comes in the body, and this causes the all prana vayus to leave. So city is set ablaze. So basically because of this Prajvara, the city is ablaze. Basically the body becomes literally incapable at the time of death. So all the servants and this thing, family members, sons, which basically represent the senses and all that, all the limbs and all other things, they are under the fire. The city is under the fire. So basically, and this thing. So now Pranjana, because this body is slowly getting going away. So the superintendent, the serpent who is protecting this city, also becomes helpless, and he wants to run away from this body. So basically, the prana shakti is now leaving. Although the Puranjana, the living entity, doesn't want him to leave, but they are just leaving. So so basically, again, this is all that Puranjana. So if you see in this shloka, so it is saying that slackened by this thing, baffled by this, the Puranjana starts to cry loudly. So now fear of that death, fear of that, the prana leaving the body, that the living entity becomes very, very this thing. So in that purport, Prabhupada, this famous Mukunda Mala Stotra by King Kulashekara, Prabhupada is quoting here, where he's saying, my dear Krishna, please help me die immediately, so that the swan of my mind may be encircled by the stem of your lotus feet. Otherwise, at the time of my final breath, my throat will choked up. How will it be possible for me to think about you? So at the time of death, all this, our throat chokes and mucus, cough will take over. And, even if we want to speak, our relatives and, who are around, we are not able to, this thing. So now, because the Puranjana, the living entity, is too much attached to this body and the extended body, that he starts thinking about all of them, like sons, grandsons, all wife, they all start thinking of that. And, so everything at the time of death, Puranjana is thinking, me and mine and my wife. Although he's poverty stricken means his body has become useless, all his organs have been taken over, overcome by Kala Kanya, but he's still thinking about the wife. So basically, still his enjoyment, the propensity to enjoy. Enjoyment propensity also means that you're thinking about your son, your wife, your this thing. So, so at that point of time, whatever is our attraction, yam yam vapi smart bhava tajanti ante kalevaram tam tam eveti kaunteya sada sadbhava bhavita. So whatever at the time of death is our thought process, accordingly, our next destination is decided. And what will be our thought process at the time of death? it will be whatever we have done the whole life. So if we are, our attraction is whatever to the material, whichever material activities, each one of us has some, weakness materially. For some, it may be opposite attraction. For some, it may be food. For some, it may be propensity to fame, propensity to power, and anything So that at the time of death, that will trouble us a lot. So Prabhupada is writing in purport that, word istri means expansion. Through wife, one expands the various objects of attraction, which is sons, daughter, and so on. Attachment to family members is very prominent at the time of death. And one who often sees that just before leaving a body, a man may call his beloved son to give him the charge of his wife and other paraphernalia. So Prabhupada is saying that, this is done forcefully. He's not giving, he doesn't want to give handover to, his sons or his, all his things, but he's forced to do that. He doesn't want to do. So now, for next couple of shlokas, the King Puranjana is thinking about his wife. Okay, so how, who will take care of my wife? And, will my, sons, grandsons, they will take care of him. And he is also thinking that, okay, my wife was taking care of me so well. If I was upset, angry, she was making me, pampering me, and all those kind of thoughts are coming in his mind about his, his relation with his wife. And in this condition, he's leaving the, body. And Prabhupada is quoting very famous, the shloka of Bhagavad Gita, which says that the living entity in the material world carries the different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aroma. If wind passes over the garden of roses, it will carry the aroma of roses. If it passes the filthy place, it will carry the stench of obnoxious things. Since King Puranjana was living entity, now passes airs of his life over his wife, a woman. Therefore, he has to accept the body of a woman in next life. So, if we are, so it's like a air which passes over the place of, if it's passing over the garden, it will carry the aroma. If it passes over the dirty place, it will carry the dirty smell. Similarly, the living entity, if he's whatever has been the consciousness of the living entity, accordingly, the next birth is, decided. So he's continuously thinking, what will happen to my wife, and what will, who will take care of her, and all those kind of things. So then, because of that, now the final moment comes where the death is happening. So Yavana is taking King Puranjana away from the city, binding like an animal, and all the basically the followers, they are aggrieved, but they are also go along with him. So all the subtle body, or anyway, the city is burned, so all the gross elements have become disabled or whatever, not usable. Now the subtle elements, they also, because mind, intelligence, and ego is also attached to the city, which is the body. But now they are forced to go along with Puranjana to the, carried, which are forcefully. So now this king, the soldiers of Yavanraj, which is like, Yamadutas, they are taking the soul out of the body, and the city is become useless. It is burnt. It has gone into the ashes. And this Puranjana, the living entity, is dragged, through the. But the important thing which is mentioned in this shloka, out of the gross ignorance, he still could not remember his friend and well-wisher, the super soul. So always remember, the story started with Puranjana and his well-wisher friend Abhignata. So the super soul always, so the Prabhupada is quoting, so the famous shloka, Suhridam Sarvabhutana, the living, even in this condition, because the body, the soul is too much attached to the body, he is dragged, but he is not remembering his eternal friend, super soul. So now all those animals who are, Puranjana has killed, those animals are waiting to, they pierce him. So basically the living entity has to go through the process before the next body is get the living entities go through the process of, the visiting the Narklokas and suffering in the Yatana Sharira. Okay, so all that process is happening here now. So now, since he left the body thinking about his wife, so now in his next life, he becomes a woman. So now the Puranjana has become the daughter of Vidarbha with the name Vidarbhi. So let's see, the interesting events happens here. So Vidarbhi, who is the daughter of King Vidarbha, is married to a powerful man, Malay Dhwaja, the inhabitants of Pandu country. After conquering other princes, he married daughter of King Vidarbha. So anybody understands who is this Malay Dhwaja? What does it imply? So now the living entity in this case has become a female, and she is married to Malay Dhwaja. Okay, so I'll not this thing. So Prabhupada is mentioning that Malay Dhwaja represents a great devotee, a Maha Bhagavata. Because why Malay Dhwaja means he's firm as Malay Hills is considered as a very auspicious, strong hill. Okay, so Malay Hills are considered where all this chandana and all that is sandal is available. Okay, so the now what is happening? The now turn of events is that now the living entities come in touch with the Mahabhagavata, and sometimes in later shlokas, Prabhupada is referring as a spiritual master. So now this Vidarbhi is married to the Malay Dhwaja, and Malay Dhwaja has already, conquered the other princes. So basically, by conquering many other these things, so now this lives. So basically, this Mahabhagavata or devotee is, or a spiritual master, has already controlled his senses, and he's a strong person. So now this Malay Dhwaja, Vidarbhi marries Malay Dhwaja, and he gets one daughter, which Prabhupada is mentioning down as devotional service, and gets 7 sons. So these 7 sons, Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport as the 7 processes of hearing, which is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Padasevanam, Dasyam. Prabhupada is mentioning Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam are not mentioned here because they are at the advanced stage of bhakti only. We get the Sakyam and Atma Nivedanam stage. But before that, the daughter is devotional service, and son is the 7 processes of bhakti. The person, the living entity, slowly, getting and serving his, pure devotee. By serving the pure devotee of the Lord, that this living entity becomes more and more purified. So now, so Malay Dhwaj gave, so after Malay Dhwaja gives sons and 1 daughter, then the next sloka says that he gave so many and thousands of, grandsons, basically. So Prabhupada is writing, and all of these were protecting the entire world up to the end of Manu's span life. So Prabhupada is mentioning here is about the various paramparas, specifically the 4 Madhava, 4 sampradaya, which is Ramanuja Sampradaya, Madhava Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami, and Nimbarka Swami. So Prabhupada is mentioning that, this bhakti through the 7 processes of bhakti, this bhakti is spread it over through the various paramparas, and it is going to stay there till the end of, Manu. It's going to be there. So now this daughter, Malay Dhwaja's daughter, was married to Agatsya. So Agatsya, Prabhupada is writing in this purport, this Agatsya represents mind. So Agastya mind, Muni means, somebody who is strong in mind. So with this daughter and Agatsya Muni, the son is born as Dranachyuta. And from Dranachyuta, there is Idham Mavaha, but basically the grandson of that daughter of Malay Dhwaja. So Dranachyuta basically represents the determination, and Idam Vaha means represents the surrender. So what happens is, through the devotional service, And when the mind becomes strong with the devotional service, then the determination comes, and the more and more surrender to the spiritual master, happens. So after this, Malayadhwaja divided the entire kingdom into his sons, and in order to worship Lord Krishna with full attention, he went to the solitary place known as Kulachala. So Prabhupada is mentioning here that the spiritual master, once he has the many disciples, he hands over them the preaching activities, and they spread the movement more and more. So they spread the bhakti more and more. And then the spiritual master decides to leave all the activities, and he focuses on towards the Supreme Lord. So now when this Malayadhwaja, when he departs for this thing at a solitary place, his wife also joins him. So, and then there the Malayadhwaja, he does a lot of austerity, living in taking baths in all the pious rivers, and eating only fruits, roots, like that. So he becomes very does a lot of austerity, and he becomes skinny. So these dualities of life, which is now cold, heat, happiness, distress, wind, rain, hunger, thirst, they don't bother this Malayadhwaja anymore. So basically, the Malayadhwaja is representing a pure devotee. So he has handed over all his spiritual activities to his disciples, and he is basically trying to focus more and more on the Supreme Lord, and trying to overcome, not trying, he has already, overcome all his, desires. And, so basically what happens is, after that, he becomes more and more fixed in the Supreme Lord. So Malayadhwaja is becoming more and more fixed in the Supreme Lord. So basically, he attains the perfect knowledge with which he is able to differentiate between soul and the super soul. He understands that super soul is the ultimate, is the everything is super soul. So in this way, the King Maladhwaja attains perfect knowledge, because in pure state, he is directly instructed by the Lord. So Supreme Personality of God. So what happens is, when we are becoming more and more, our surrender is becoming more and more, then Lord, being Supreme Lord, being the Paramatma from inside, he guides us. So till we are not matured, we take the association of a physical spiritual master, serve him, and more we become advanced, then the Lord from the Chaitya Guru inside, in the form of Paramatma, guides us. And Prabhupada is quoting 10.10 famous shloka, Tesham Satata Yuktanam Vajtam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam In Mam Upayantite. So Lord is personally guiding us, externally in the form of a physical spiritual master, and internally as a Chaitya Guru in the form of Paramatma. But the thing is, more and more we are sincere, more and more we are pure, and more we are able to understand the guidance which is coming from the Supreme Lord. So, Maladhwaja is becoming more and more matured and connected with Super Soul. So now her wife, which is Vidarbhi, which means the living entity, what happens is, she is nicely serving her husband, the spiritual master or a pure devotee. And as a result of what happens is, she gave all her sensual enjoyment, and she became completely renounced. And she was only attached to her service to her husband, which is Malayadhwaja. And because of that, what happened is that, she became lean and thin. And but what does it represent? That the living entity is no more attached to the external material enjoyment. The only thing the living entity is looking for is to serve the spiritual master and understand this thing. So what happens is that Malayadhwaja is sitting in the austerity in a steady posture, and in that he leaves his body. So she could not even identify that he has left the body, So what is she doing? Then suddenly when she's massaging the feet of her husband, she realizes the feet have become very cold. And then she comes to know that her husband has left her body. So she starts, crying loudly in the, this thing, in the separation from her husband. And, she's saying that, please get up, I'm afraid, nobody's there to protect me. Please come and protect. So she falls at the body of her husband and she's crying very, very this thing. She creates one pyre of firewood and then she wants to sit on she puts the body to fire and she's about to sit on this fire of her husband's body. So now here in all the purports, Prabhupada is mentioning very important points that, sometimes when physically the spiritual master leave this material world, the disciple feel very, very separated from this, and sometimes they even think of leaving their body. But, Prabhupada is saying that as far as the spiritual master is in this material world, the disciple should try as much as possible to serve him physically. And once the physically guru, spiritual master departs, the disciple should know that the spiritual master never leaves the disciple. He's always there. And in the form of Chaitya Guru, the guru is giving all the instruction to the disciple. And the spiritual master the disciple should follow the instructions of his spiritual master after he is physically there. So, Prabhupada, in all these 4-5 purports, Prabhupada is saying that the disciple's duty is to follow the instruction of the spiritual master. So now when Vidarbhi is trying to kill herself along with her husband, then one king, one Brahmana, who is none other than the old friend of King Puranjana. What was the name of that old friend of Puranjana? I'm testing if you are awake, all of you are awake.
Avignata.
Avignata, yes. So that friend now is coming. So who is this? So now when the separation of a spiritual master, the living entity is thinking that, okay, what is there for me? Then what happens is the guru in the form of Chaitya Guru, in the form of his super soul, he comes and he is giving the instruction to Vedarbhi. Prabhupada has written wonderful purports. I would suggest you all read this. Lot of realizations are mentioned in here. Very, very wonderful purports are there actually. So now this Brahmana, who is the old friend of Puranjana, he's saying, who are you? Why are you lamenting on this, this dead body? Don't you know who am I? I'm your eternal friend. I'm there. So let's see, a couple of next shlokas are very interesting. So what this Brahmana or that friend is saying, my dear friend, even though you cannot recognize me, can't you remember that in the past you had a very intimate friend? Unfortunately, you gave up my company and accepted a position as an enjoyer of this material world. So what happens is propensity to enjoy independently of the Lord, then what happens is we leave our eternal position as a living entity. And then we come in this material world and just want to eternally enjoy and suffer. And this, this cycle continues until we realize that, back as in the case of Puranjana, who has become now Vedarbhi, he is realizing when the super soul under the guidance of the spiritual master, super soul is coming, the Vedarbhi is able to see, a living entity is able to see the Supreme Lord. And when he knows, so this shloka which Prabhupada is quoting, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatvam Mam Shantim Rachati. So if we know that Krishna is the Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, he is the Supreme Lord, then automatically the living entity becomes free from the anxiety. So here the super soul is saying, no, my dear gentle friend, both you and I exactly like two swans. We live together in the same heart, which is like a Manasa lake. Although we have been living together for many thousands of years, we are still far away from. So we are, the most wonderful thing is that even if the living entity, even if we all forget the Supreme Lord, Lord in the form of Paramatma never forgets us. He is always there within the heart of the living entity. He is always there. But the only thing is the requirement, that recognition or that recognizing the super soul depends on how much ever our purification is. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam sadhaiv bhajamyaham. So Lord will be able to, we will be able to see the Lord. We will be able to get the instructions from the Lord to the level we are surrendered to the. More and more we are in materially entangled, then more and more it will be difficult for us to, come out of this. So then Super Soul is saying that there are 5 gardens, 9 gates, 1 protector, 3 apartments, 6 families, 5 stores, 5 material elements, and 1 woman who is the lord of the house. So let's see, this is explained later, what all. So Lord is saying, my dear friend, 5 gardens are the 5 objects of sense enjoyment. The protector is life air, which passes through the 9 gates. 3 apartments are the chief ingredients, fire, water, and air. And 6 families are aggregate total of mind and 5 senses. So like that, this whole gross and subtle body is made up of, and Super Soul is telling to the living entity that this is how your body is made up of. The 5 stores are 5 working sensory organs. They transact their business through the combined forces of 5 elements, which are eternal. Behind all activity is soul. Soul is a person and enjoyer in reality. However, because he is now hidden within the city of the body, he is devoid of the knowledge. So all this body, which is all these explained 9 gates and all these senses, organs and all that. So body is encaged in that, living entity is encaged within the this thing, and because of that, what happens is the knowledge is forgotten and the person becomes more and more entangled in the enjoyment. Now the Super Soul is saying that you are not the daughter of Vidarbha, nor is this man Malay Dhwaja, your well-wishing husband, nor were you the actual husband of Puranjani. You are simply captivated by the body of the night. So we are actually not this body, we are the soul, but we are so much engrossed with this body that we identify ourselves with this body. And, so Super Soul is saying that, all this is, happens because of illusory energy of the Lord. So this is Maya, because of the Maya, which is the potency of the Lord only, so which basically, covers our knowledge, and we become, identifying ourselves with the soul. So now at last, Super Souls is, the Lord is saying the most important thing, that, qualitatively you and me are same. Means we both are spiritual in nature. But, in next sloka he says that quantitatively we are different. Because only for living entity, the only, field of activity is the body. For the Super Soul, it is all the creation. So for Super Soul, it is not just, is not attached to just one living entity. It is the Super Soul for everybody. So at the last, the Super Soul says that in this way, both swans live together in the heart. When one swan is instructed by other, he is situated in his constitutional position. This means he regains his original Krishna consciousness, which was lost due to the material attraction. So it is the same analogy which Prabhupada gives at many places, is like the 2 parrots sitting on a tree, or 2 birds sitting on a tree. One bird is busy enjoying eating the fruits of the tree. Other bird is waiting eagerly for this bird to turn towards the other bird. And as soon as this bird turns towards the other bird, that, the bird recognizes that I have the well-wisher and next to me. I don't need to depend on this, enjoyment, material enjoyment. So this way, a living entity gets back his Krishna consciousness. So now Narad Muni is, telling to Prachin Barai that, I have already told you this story, and this was actually a allegory. And after that, Prabhupada actually gives all this thing, what in this whole story. Anyway, this next chapter, whoever is going to take is going to explain you all this again. And next chapter will be the last, all explaining all this story, which we have already, discussed. So in this way, this whole story of Puranjana and attachment to these material desires, and taking the next birth, taking the guidance from the spiritual master, and then thus Supreme Lord is realized by the, by the purification, by constant serving the spiritual master, the Supreme Lord is realized. So with this chapter ends. I'm sorry I took more time, but this is how the culmination of this whole story of Puranjana is. So with this, maybe I'll end, unless anybody has any question or comments. I hope this was not a very overwhelming session because there were too many things happening, but with the best of my ability, I've tried to link everything. Any comments or questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
Dandaswanam Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Very, very beautiful, engrossing, very easy to connect to me. So that was the best part. Prabhuji, one question was, I mean, this is an allegory. That's another word I learned because of Prabhupada's mercy. I never heard this word.
Even I learned this new word, allegory.
An amazing thing, when we go through these purports or when we listen, love for Prabhupada increases because of so many reasons. He's teaching like a teacher, like a father. So natural love increases for him. That's, I think, biggest advantage here.
Correct.
So, Prabhuji, my question was here, Puranjana leaves the body. It's an allegory, and then takes birth again because there's too much of attraction to the wife, and comes as the daughter of Vidarbha. Then she's very, how to say it, lucky or fortunate to get the association in me. How is it possible? How do you understand this?
So if you see the initial shlokas where the Vidarbhi, so she meets, Vidarbha. So actually, she meets Malayadhwaja. So,
Yes.
so Prabhupada writes in there that, it is, by the causeless mercy of the Lord, the living entity is given opportunity to come in touch with the spiritual master. Brahmite, Brahmand Brahmite kaun bhagyavan jeev, Guru Krishna prasade paye bhakti lata beech. So why this happens that some people gets this mercy and some does not get? It's not that, the Lord is impartial, partial. Lord is impartial. It says in Bhagavad Gita very clearly. But the problem is that, that sometimes this, because if you observe, if we look ourselves, then what qualification we had to get, to meet somebody, a devotee who came into our life and who changed our life. We didn't have any qualification, but by the causeless mercy of the Lord, we get it. So, but yes, to some extent that patrata is required as well. So if even after getting the opportunity, if we are not like, Puranjana, we are not utilizing this opportunity which has been given to us, then we will lose the opportunity as well. And we see day and night when we go out in preaching, go out for preaching in Shobha City also, Prabhu, that, we are preaching to so many people, but, due to their sense enjoyment, attachment to the material enjoyment, they like all this, but beyond the point, they are scared to commit. But if we see here, Vidarbhi served her husband very dedicatedly. She became lean. She became this thing serving the Lord. So sometimes that opportunity is given to us. So if your question is that how come we got it, or, so it's a causeless mercy of the Lord, but this mercy comes to everybody. Although all of us, when we are talking about, we are trying to preach, although we have no qualification, we are not at the level where, we can inspire anybody to take Krishna consciousness. But still what we do is that, we try our best by the mercy of our spiritual master and, by instruction of our spiritual master, we are trying to preach. But that mercy, so it is all the mercy of the Lord. So some devotee who came into our life, it is a mercy of the Lord. So mercy of the Lord is coming to all the devotee, but whoever takes it up, That free will has been given to the living entity. So if they take up this opportunity, they are lucky. If they don't take up, then again, we have to continue this cycle of birth and death.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. It's very clear. The costless mercy is there for everybody. It's not selective.
It's not
That's-
selective. It's available to everybody. That's why, ISKCON devotees, they go and do Harinam Sankirtan on the road. Give the books. We have temples. We are opening Bhakti centers. And it's not just us. There are so many spiritual organizations are doing it. They are giving opportunity to everybody. But the problem is that Kali effect is becoming so strong that, nowadays it's very difficult to inspire anyone. And to maintain ourselves also, although we may in Bhakti, we take Bhakti also as very casual, right? So we have to strong. The daughter of Malay Dhwaja, basically the grandson was Dradachyuta. So that determination, in devotional service is required.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else has any question or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Wonderful session, Prabhuji. The main thing was asking questions from us, awakening us. That was very good. Interactive session. So, Prabhuji, can we, with this Puranjan story, like Narad Muni is explaining to the king, Prachin Bharisht. So, like maybe our life also in the past, we have also come from the up and downs.
100%. 100%.
Then only like because I have heard like one Prabhuji also like they make sometimes some shorts and all, no, so they used to they are showing like how you got a life of a devotee, means so many janmas we have so means Prabhupada is showing with a recap of like that you were also like that.
He is our Malay Dhwaja. He is the
Yes.
Malay Dhwaja of us, who has shown us.
Yes, that's only
By
Prabhuji I
just
want.
having that even thought of serving him, or I don't think we have capability to serve him in any way. Just by, thinking that, okay, let me serve Prabhupada in any way. Let me serve spiritual master. I always share the story. Today, time is not there. When I met His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, and in Bombay, and I opened up saying that we are struggling in bhakti, we are struggling in preaching, and Guru Maharaj told that okay, I'm happy with you. I'm happy with your family, your circle. You all are putting wonderful, and there was a lot of things he encouraged, and he let me go very happily from that place, and he asked me actually, "Are you happy now?" Because my talks looked like I'm very morose or I'm not happy. So he ensured that he asked me at the last, are you happy? So he asked me, all of us, me, my wife, my children, yeah, are you all happy? First he asked me, are you happy? Then he asked my wife, are you happy? Then he asked, all of you are happy. 2-3 times he asked. Then when we said, yes, we are happy, Guru Maharaj, after talking to you. Then he said, okay, thank you so much, Hare Krishna. And he raised his hand and he embraced and he let us go. So I was just, when I was reaching this Malay Dhwaja, analogy, I was just, thinking, I was just putting in place, how Guru Maharaj, how Prabhupada, they are guiding us, they are inspiring us, they are keeping us motivated in spite of so many difficulties we face on the path of bhakti. The Lord is spiritual master. Prabhupada is just keep us going. We struggle, but we unfortunately we are not as determined as Vedarbi to serve spiritual master. But we can hope that one day we will have that Dradachyuta as our son, means our mind will become Drada, strong, and then we will be able to see the Super Soul or Supreme Lord. We can hope that with that determination we can move ahead. So perfectly, it's actually, if you read, this whole 3-4 chapters, it's nothing but our own life as a normal living entity. You rightly pointed out, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything else?
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
You just related two parrots sitting on the tree.
Mhm.
One is busy eating the fruit,
Mhm.
and the other one is just trying to see.
Mhm.
And I didn't understand what was the point you wanted to relate there. Could you please explain that?
So basically, so there are two birds. So in this body, as this chapter also said, that there are one is Jivatma, one is Paramatma.
Paramatma.
So both of them are there in the body. So these two birds are sitting on a tree. Means tree represents the body, and so the living entity, us, we are busy in enjoying the fruits of this material world. In the sense, we are so much busy in material activity that we do activity, then we enjoy the results, we suffer the results, and we enjoy. We are so much busy there that the bird sitting next to us, which is Paramatma, which is waiting, because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mame Vamshu Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So I am the, all living entities are Mame Vamsho. We are the Ansha of the Lord. So he, as a Paramatma who is sitting in our heart, he is always anxious to see that we come back to him. But unfortunately, we are busy in material world. But as soon as we look towards the bird becomes very happy. So this means that, the Paramatma is waiting for us to turn towards him and go back to him. Bahunam janmanamante jnanvan mam prapatti Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlava. So for Lord also, he's saying in Bhagavad Gita, Bahunam janmanamante. After many, many births, anybody is come to know that Vasudeva sarvamiti. Vasudeva is everything. So that's what this analogy which Prabhupada gives in Bhagavad Gita and many places he gives this analogy. This analogy is from I'm not sure, some Upanishad, this Kathopanishad or some Upanishad with Prabhupada is quoting. And I hope it clarifies.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Anything else? Okay, it's already 7:35. So I think Soumya Prabhu has dropped off. He left a message saying that he's on out. So I want to thank all of you for joining. Tomorrow our Seva is Prasadam serving. So all those devotees from Bangalore are requested to come and join for Seva tomorrow. And Rajiv Lochan Prabhu, if you can send the message in all the groups, the people who are not there in the call can also.
We'll do that, Prabhu. We'll do that.
Okay. Thank you everybody for joining. We'll see the next chapter, which is again a long chapter. I was just seeing, I'm not sure who is going to take, but it's very, very long. 75 shlokas are there. But here all these things, what we have discussed today, are more detailed, explained there. Anuttama Mataji, you have raised the hand. You have anything to say?
Yes, Prabhuji, we would like to chant for you.
Oh, okay.
Because you have given wonderful class and we always want your association and you should come up with wonderful sessions. Heavy chapters should be given to senior devotees.
No, see, all the context which was prepared by Shankpani Prabhu, Rajshekhar Prabhu, and Chandramukha Prabhu. So I just took the advantage of all of that and speak. So maybe I get the credit, but ultimately it was what was the foundation which was done in last 3-4 weeks.
So we all would like to chant for Prabhuji. So everybody can unmute and chant for Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Thank you so much,
Shri
Prabhu.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo. Thank you so much for joining. We'll meet again next Saturday.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Prabhu.
Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Pranam. Thank you so much.